So I've been playing a lot of games recently. And I typically try to diversify my library of games, but a genre near and dear to me has always been the 2D platformer. And there's a very special one I want to talk about. Grapple. If you haven't heard about this one, I don't blame you. It's sitting at sub 1000 reviews, and if we go by the estimate of only 5% of people or less leaving a review on Steam, we'll learn that not nearly enough people have played this banger. Admittedly, we don't have the actual numbers, and it is available on other platforms, but I think this game deserves more attention, plus a sequel released not too long ago. But let's start from the beginning. Hundreds of years ago, the people of Parta lived in hunger and hardship. One day, the great inventor appeared and helped them with wonderful devices. However, he sensed a great evil approaching. So before disappearing, he scattered his 4 cosmic gadgets across the land, where evil could never find them. Simple yet effective basis for the context in which the platforming courses will take place. Despite its simplicity, the characters are rather charming. Perfect example is none other than Pablo, the cute dog protagonist tasked with saving the world from the evil grasp of Null. After Pablo himself was responsible for him coming back, but we'll ignore that fact. After that debacle, Pablo's journey aboard the ship begins across many distinctly colorful locations with their own quirky inhabitants delivering equally quirky dialogue. There's a good amount of diversity, not only in its locations, but also in gameplay. Your basic movement options are jumping, slamming, running, and grappling. Slamming specifically can be done at any point while airborne, and you can also cancel it into other moves. You'll also have a speed meter, which will fill up after walking for enough time or swinging with your hook. Speed will reward your jumps with more momentum, allowing you to clear long distances with ease. But you'll need to maneuver around the terrain and grapple to specific blue surfaces. There are many other more situational platforms / mechanics and enemies you'll encounter along your journey, but I don't want to spoil too much. Though by collecting blue tokens along your journey, you'll gain access to bonus courses that will test your speed and skill. We have the regular races, collecting shards, or defeating all robots, the main foes of the game, under a certain amount of time. The game is quite generous with the amount of time given to you, so you shouldn't struggle too much until the latter levels in the latter worlds. Beating these bonus levels will reward you with more purple gems, which are necessary for 100% completion. I myself am close to collecting all of the gems, but do not let its cutesy exterior fool you. This game is punishing. You will die. It's a fun kind of challenging though. It won't be a walk in the park, but it has the right amount of difficulty without being punishing with its generous checkpoints. I found myself playing in 2 ways. First, trying to get all the gems and most tangerines, so I could pet Pablo for being such a good boy. And on a second time, trying to finish it as fast as possible. And if you're good like me, you'll go for the gold medals in the time trial mode. But getting absolutely everything in this game will take some time and patience. The sequel adds a whole new layer with its new mechanics and brand new gameplay style with Luna, who is packing heat. But it does not only expand on its mechanical front, the lore also deepens, and with its dimension hopping shenanigans happening here, expect even more variety in its scenery. I love the continuity with the story and all the details and enemies, and oh my god, it's so cool. Shifting between very different gameplay styles, from Pablo to Luna, who admittedly play rather differently from each other, might be a little jarring at first, but you'll get used to it pretty quickly, and overall it's a great addition to the gameplay loop. Luna, unlike Pablo, is equipped with an air dash, which gives her a very snappy feeling. You might accidentally dash into enemies here and there, but as you get used to it, you'll be snapping around the place, mixing enemies up. Of course, Pablo is not left behind, and he has his own set of additions. And Cosmic Canines opts for removing the speed meter altogether, which means that he'll go full speed all the time. And I understand the decision. I don't think the speed meter was a pivotal component for Grapple Dog's overall fun factor. Of course, not everything is zipping around in these games. You can also play Boomerang Bandit! This is amazing. Every level offers a good amount of secret paths and hidden collectibles that'll have you check every corner. Pro tip for the first game: if you see a square or a rectangle-shaped border on the wall, it will most likely be a fake wall that'll hide something beneath. And what I said about the gold medals, yeah, that was a lie, by the way. I'll have like 2 or 3 of them. But I am trying. Speedrunning this game is a completely different story, especially with the final test awaiting you at the end. But before that, you'll have to go through the bosses. Not something you might have expected in a 2D platformer, yet they're here, and yeah, they're fun. The first handful of them aren't very challenging, though I could be talking from my pro gamer point of view here. It isn't until the last 2 that the bosses really pose a threat. Of course, that I'm speaking about the first game here, the second one is a completely different ballpark. But they now are a mix between the original platform-based bosses that you'll find in the first one, and the bosses that you'll need to unload the whole magazine on. While the first game has a good amount of enemy types, they are diversified in the second game. We'll still see some familiar drones, but it also introduces new enemy archetypes. The amount of variety in Cosmic Canines as a whole is so awesome, it sometimes feels like they'll never run out of ideas. Bonus levels are back, and so is a challenge. In fact, I would say it's higher in the sequel, so keep that in mind if you're not a big fan of the difficulty. Honestly, Grapple Dog has cemented itself as one of my favorite franchises, if you can call it that. The people at Medallion Games are extremely talented, and they have truly honed their craft. The games honestly just look beautiful, and there's so much interactable detail. I already adored the first game, but the second one somehow makes it even better, which is why I think you should check them out. It is so good, it deserves a round of applause.
Seriously?
What?
You're not gonna end the video like that, right?
No. I think it came out well enough.